Hello, you guys. This is Leo from Pink Lemony Show, and I wanted to address the sexual scandal that's going around some of the current cast members of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12, more specifically Sherry Pie. Even though this information has been public around the New York City scene for a while, it has hit at the mainstream during the past week. So, first of all, a very important disclaimer is that all of this information is alleged. We do not want by any means to target any innocent person, but still we believe that this could be a very appropriate opportunity to start a conversation regarding mental health and inappropriate behavior on the internet and, of course, reality television show and its boundaries. So this next post, it's been around Facebook and Reddit for the past days now, and it's from one of the victims. I have a weird story to tell about Sherry Pie. RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12 started last week. It is an exciting time in the gay community. We get a chance for a culture to be broadcast on national television, an area that for too long has omitted our narrative despite how much pop culture draws from our scene. Throughout the month, you will undoubtedly hear some gay men pine that it is our equivalent to the Super Bowl. This show has been super important to me for many years. I watched it for the first time during the freshman year of college. At the time, I had a tumultuous relationship with being gay. The show was one of the first experiences I had that showed other gay men living unapologetically. It became a pop culture phenomenon that I couldn't get enough of. However, I'm not sure if I will be able to watch it at all this year. I attended the Cortland State University's musical theater program with Sherry Pie, one of the contestants that will make a debut on this week's episode of Drag Race. It was Sherry who exposed me to the show. At the time, she was a junior. The show was in the midst of their 5th season, and personalities like Alaska and Detox made me fall in love with the culture I now strive to take part in. Sherry and I also have an extensive history beyond our time in Cortland. In the summers, we worked together in a summer stock theater in a small town in western Michigan. In all, we performed in more than 15 shows together. I even performed as a dancer in 2 of her drag performances when she was still in central New York. The story takes its weird turn when I was a senior at Cortland. Sherry was no longer attending the school at this point. Another close friend of mine reached out to me and told me there was an audition for a new play at the prestigious Playwrights Horizons in New York City with the role that I was good for. He gave me an email for a woman named Allison Mosey, who immediately seemed interested in my work upon receiving my email. Allison and I went through an email thread that lasted over 150 emails in about 3 weeks. We covered topics of pay, living situations in the city, when I would have to leave school for rehearsals, and conversations about acting choices for the character. I had to film scenes that felt particularly sexual and awkward, but the opportunity seemed too good to let the over-sexual nature of my inhibitions get in the way. I simply told myself that my parents wouldn't be allowed to see the show, but I wanted the professional experience and the bright and shiny object on my resume. There were a few days where I wouldn't get any response from Allison at all. I eventually would email her asking for a response. I was considering dropping out school for the opportunity. Eventually, she got back to me and said that she hadn't responded because she had no internet access. I found this hard to believe, being that she was working for one of the premier theaters in New York City. I eventually grew worrisome of the back and forth that seemed to be going nowhere and reached out to Playwrights Horizon directly to ask about the relationship with Allison Mosey. The person that I contacted notified me that nobody within the company had ever heard of her. I reached out to the friend who originally got this email contact. He too was in a callback for a different show with the same woman. I told him not to contact her again. I also asked where he had gotten the contact from, and it was from Sherry Pie, who was adamant about her friendship with Allison. When I began telling my friends about what had happened to me, one of my best friends told me that a colleague who had worked at a theater doing hairspray with Sherry also had the same experience with Allison Mosey. Another friend said that the same thing had happened to someone she knew. Her friend was also in close contact with Sherry. Wherever Sherry seemed to go, Allison would follow. Since being open about my experience, 6 people have corroborated stories with me. I had to cope with the fact that these videos I had sent of myself were not for the benefit of my career. The specific video submissions I sent were of me taking steroids and immediately growing large muscles and gaining physical power. The character, Jeff, talked about how much his armpits began to stink and how much he liked that. It was a tough pill to swallow, knowing that I hadn't listened to my gut instinct about how uncomfortable I was, that I had sent suggestive videos of myself and I didn't know what the videos were being used for. Eventually, I was able to chalk it all up to a hard lesson about researching employers. But before I was able to get there, I experienced massive emotional trauma. I considered the following months to be the lowest time for my mental health. A few other personal trials happened at the same time, and my mental state was at a breaking point that I had no experience before. I am writing this because I hope that nobody ever feels this way again. I also want to get the word out to people in our community that Allison is not looking to hire you at Playwrights Horizons. Lastly, I hope that Sherry has learned that Allison is not a persona that she can hide behind if she wants to objectify other gay men. I have heard rumors that Sherry does well on Drag Race. I am not particularly surprised. Sherry's normally the most hilarious and creative person in the room. Sherry's outfit construction and makeup have advanced bounds since I last worked with her. Sherry has a lot of traits that are reminiscent of the people who have done well in the show in the past. Sherry will be a blast to watch on the show. I hope that the success she will undoubtedly have allows her to break free from using internet personas to objectify other gay men. However, I realize the opposite is also possible. Sherry's success will bring her more opportunities to victimize other people. What Sherry did to all of us was wrong. Although Sherry's drag may be admired by our community, I hope that our community also recognizes the impact of giving her a bigger stage to broadcast from. I hope Allison Mousy and other tactics of sexualizing people in our community without their consent is put to an end. So, ever since this has been posted, a lot of other people had come out saying to be victims of Allison as well. And some other drag race queens like Aquaria had been very vocal about their thoughts in the matter. This whole scandal reminds me of what happened back in the days with Megan Wants a Millionaire, another TV show, reality television show that VH1 had on the I Love series. And one of the cast members turned out to be a killer. He killed his wife and he ran away with the money that he had gotten from winning I Love Money. And what VH1 did back then was to cancel the show. The show was on its 4th episode and they canceled it. And it never aired. This only shows the responsibility that casting directors have when casting people for reality television shows. Because they're not just putting them on national television, they're putting them on a platform that's worldwide. So my question here is, if this turns out to be true, what do you guys think VH1 should do? Should they cancel this season of Drag Race? Should the victims be forced to see them on national television? What do you think? Because when things like this happen, reality television loses its magic. And I'm very concerned about the type of people that we are giving platforms to. So remember, my name is Leo Angelone. I'll be streaming all season of Drag Race if it doesn't get canceled on @PinkLemonade here on Facebook. And you can also follow us on Instagram as @PinkLemonade or @LeoAngelone and @Mamuecas. See you every Friday at 8. Bye.